Welcome to the Engaged Cities Award informational webinar. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for attending today's webinar to learn more about the Cities of Service Engaged City Award. You should see something that looks like this on your own computer desktop. To the left is the GoToWebinar viewer, through which you will see the presentation. And to the right is the GoToWebinar control panel, where you can ask questions and select your audio mode. You're listening through your computer's speaker system by default. If you would prefer to join over the phone, just select telephone in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed. If you see the orange arrow in the control panel on the right side of your screen, feel free to right-click the orange arrow to have access to the entire control panel throughout the webinar. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing your questions into the question pane of the control panel. You may also submit your questions at any time during the presentation. I will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. As a reminder, this webinar will be recorded and emailed to you tomorrow, so please feel free to share it with colleagues and partners. So a bit about me. My name is Nikola Pavelic, and I have been a program manager at Cities of Service for over a year now. Prior to Cities of Service, I worked as a community engagement coordinator in the Human Rights Department at the City of Dubuque in Iowa. So to help us see where each of us is located, you will see a poll pop up on your screen shortly asking you where you live. Please take a moment to answer. Let's go ahead and see those results. Wow, what a mix. So we have North America represented at 85%, wonderful, but then we have South America and Europe. Thank you all for being with us today. So now let's see another poll that'll pop up asking you how big your city is. Let's see what comes back. All right, let's see these results. Wow, now that's a mix. That's fantastic. We have small cities and large cities. Wow, that's very exciting. Fantastic. So now let's go over what we'll cover on today's webinar. First, we will cover key information regarding Cities of Service. Next, we will talk about why citizen engagement matters to us and why we decided to launch the Engaged Cities Award. The bulk of our webinar will be focused on the award itself, what it is, eligibility requirements, the application process, selection criteria, how to apply, and of course, key dates. We'll also cover a few factors which make a successful application. And lastly, we will have time for questions and answer. As a reminder, please enter your questions in the question box in the control panel. And again, feel free to submit the questions throughout this webinar. So our mission is as follows. Cities of Service is a nonprofit organization that helps mayors build stronger cities by changing the way local government and citizens work together. We help our coalition cities tap into citizen insights, skills, and services to identify and solve critical public problems. So how did we get started, you might be wondering? We were founded by Michael R. Bloomberg in 2009 and incubated at Bloomberg Philanthropies. Cities of Service became an independent organization in 2014 to meet increasing demand from cities for our services. We now support a coalition of more than 250 cities, representing more than 73 million people across the Americas and Europe. So as part of the Engage Cities Award, we have articulated our philosophy so that cities can understand the level of engagement we work with cities to achieve. We believe the following. Local government works better when it is open to the ideas and talents of citizens. Citizens have deep expertise in their own lives and in what's best for their families and communities. And citizen contributions can take many forms. Some of you might be thinking, Nicola, how does Cities of Service define citizen? Cities of Service defines citizens regardless of their legal status as residents who actively participate in their community and who see themselves as an integral part of their city. Using our citizen engagement model, Cities of Service helps coalition cities partner with local citizens, city agencies, and community organizations to identify priority challenges that can be addressed with the help from citizens. We took what we learned about citizen engagement over the years and created this model, which is comprised of 5 key elements. The first 2 elements are leadership and identifying a challenge. We start with the belief that the elected city leaders have the perspective needed to identify the challenges of top priority for the city. They have the bird's eye view of the city and have the opportunity to see what's best for all and what is needed to get the city there. Next, deliberation with the community. Before a city takes on a task, implements a solution, or creates a policy, Cities of Service encourages cities to deliberate with its citizens. Confirm that the problem you think is a problem is indeed a problem. See if the solution you're proposing makes sense for the community of focus. What we found is that the act of deliberation ultimately allows a community and its local government to develop common goals to help solve public problems. Next is get to work. After deliberating with the community, city leaders and citizens come together to take action. This is about working together side by side with your citizens. And lastly, it's about showing impact. So the work is happening, but in order to talk about the difference made, there need to be measures. We believe that measuring your impact helps cities point to concrete results and tell the world how the partnership between the city and citizen has made a powerful difference. In addition, measuring against goals along the way helps you notice when things are off the rails and adjust before the work is complete. The combined efforts of the city and citizen generate strong results and build trust between citizens and city leaders, which encourages and sustains future engagement. We believe that engagement is continuous and participation has to be sustained. You go through this cycle and then you do it again and again in order to build a trusting relationship. With a data-driven focus on creating measurable results, Cities of Service provides counsel, expert technical assistance, and proven resources to city leaders and their staff. We bring coalition members together to share best practices, expand networks, and deepen relationships. We also offer competitive grant opportunities to our coalition cities. So why the Engaged Cities Award? Cities more than ever face an array of public challenges, including urban blight and homelessness, a lack of resources to analyze data, and slow responses to non-emergency complaints. Many cities are tapping into the expertise and talents of their citizens to help them tackle these very problems. The Cities of Service Engaged Cities Award is a recognition program that shines light on the growing number of ways city leaders around the world are solving problems and co-creating the future with their residents. The award amplifies the most effective solutions, enabling other cities to learn from, adopt, and improve upon them. So let's go through the specifics of the award. Cities of Service will select 3 Engaged Cities Award winners who will receive cash prizes of a minimum of $50,000 each. Funds can be used at the discretion of the winning cities to support their efforts to engage citizens to solve critical public problems. Finalists and winners may receive media coverage and recognition leading up to, during, and after the Engaged Cities Summit in the fall of 2019. We may also publicize the work of Engaged Cities Award applicants generally to showcase their efforts and spur activity among cities looking to accomplish similar change. Cities of Service may also visit the finalists and winners to observe activities as we write up resources to facilitate replication in other cities. Finalists and winning cities are eligible to receive technical assistance from Cities of Service. We launched the very first Engaged Cities Award last year. Within the 2-month application period, we received over 100 applications from over 11 different countries. We had cities with populations in the low 40,000s up to 9.5 million. The public problems being addressed were equally diverse. They included blight elimination, crime reduction, access to food, and economic stability. The solutions that cities applied to these public problems ranged from improving service using human-centered design, crowdsourcing solutions, and changing behavior using technology. So now that you know more about the award, let's talk about eligibility. So cities must have 30,000 or more residents and be located in the Americas and Europe. Solutions must have already been implemented and show evidence of significant impact on a public problem. Applications must be submitted by a city representative with direction, approval, and endorsement from the mayor or chief city executive. Nonprofits, individuals, counties, states, and others are not eligible. Cities may submit up to 3 applications, with each application focusing on a different public problem. A maximum of 1 will receive an award. Current grantees may apply, but cannot submit applications for strategies that are currently funded by Cities of Service. Applications with activities previously funded by Cities of Service may be eligible if they have been significantly altered and/or enhanced since the conclusion of the grant. So what are those key dates that I mentioned earlier? Let's go over those right now. So the application went live on November 13th, 2018, and the first round applications are due by January 18th, 2019. We are going to announce semifinalists on spring of 2019, and then we'll let the finalists will be announced the summer of 2019. And then finally, our wonderful winners will be announced in the fall of 2019. So now let's focus our attention on the selection criteria. Applications must show these 3 selection criteria: that the city engaged citizens as problem solvers. So this means city-involved citizens in the design and implementation of a solution. The application must show evidence of impact. So it demonstrates the significant impact on the problem and be transferable to other cities. So we know that cities are facing similar challenges, and we want to be able to show these strategies to other cities and help them implement them. So how do you go about applying for the Engaged Cities Award? First, you will answer 5 questions that are ranging from 1,300 to 1,800 characters, which includes space. These character limits translate into around 250 to 350 words. Cities are also encouraged to submit a short 30 to 60-second video that explains why your particular strategy should be selected as a winner. The quality of the video file will not be a factor in the evaluation rubric. So first, I'd like to familiarize you with the Engaged Cities Award website and all the information you can find there, and then I will show you some screen grabs of the actual application. So let me go ahead and show you the website right now. So when you get to the Engaged Cities Award website, this is our home screen. All you need to do is click About, which is right up here. And then you can scroll down. If you click Criteria, this is where you can, and scroll down, this is where you can see the criteria I mentioned earlier in the webinar. So if you want to share this with partners, colleagues, you're more than welcome to. This section here is called the categories, and I will go into these in more detail later on in the webinar. Benefits are right here. If you scroll down, you can see the amount of the prize and the other benefits I mentioned. The FAQs, this is such an important page. As I mentioned, this is our second year with the award. And last year, we took all the questions we received and created this really robust FAQ page. So if you have a question, again, we encourage you to submit those through the question box in the pane of the webinar. And if we don't get to your question, we encourage you to look at the FAQ page to see if an answer has already been provided. And if you do not get the answer that you need, obviously you'll be able to get in touch with me and we'll get those answers to you. So the FAQ is really important, and it is also a downloadable option for you as well. The timeline is right here. If you scroll down, you'll see the key dates that I mentioned. And then our wonderful review committee. If you scroll down, you'll get to see their names. So the Cities of Service, with the support of this review committee, which is consisting of leading experts and practitioners, will review the applications. And you can learn more about each of the review committee members from this page. So once you are ready to apply, all you do is click this button here in the corner, and you will see this option to download the application. So if you want to work on it on paper and collaborate with other partners or colleagues, and then come back to this website and start filling it out, you're more than welcome to do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you some screen grabs of the actual application. So to complete step 1, you simply enter your contact information and few facts about your city. Please make sure to provide us with a phone number and email, which you check on a regular basis. Once done, click Next. If you are not able to complete the application in one sitting, that's okay. Just click on the Save and Continue Later option. Doing so will send a unique link to the email that you provided us. Once you're ready to continue working on the application, simply click the unique link and it'll take you where you left off. If you do not receive this email, please check your spam. Sometimes they go into that folder. If the message is not in the spam folder, please do get in touch with me and I'll provide you the email at the end of the webinar. Next, you will first need to select which category best describes your application. You will be able to pick from the following categories. Impact volunteering. This is where citizens are putting in the work. They're getting their hands dirty, if you will. Here are a few examples we have seen in the past, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. Citizens are transforming vacant lots, doing park cleanups, or making home repairs. If you visit our Love Your blog page on the citiesofservice.org website, you will find additional examples of impact volunteering. We cannot wait to see what other examples you all will provide. The next category is citizen source data. In this one, citizens help with data gathering. This could be done through a mobile app or even through print-based tools such as questionnaires. If you want to see a great example of citizen source data, check out our Citizen Source Data in Your City guide. It provides a real-life example of how San Jose, California, brought this category to life. Once again, we cannot wait to see what other examples you will shed light on. The next category option is participatory design. In this category, citizens are typically involved in helping define the public problem, test out different solutions, and implement what actually works. A wonderful example of participatory design comes from Helsinki, Finland, who were last year's Engaged Cities Award finalists. They assembled a 30-person design team to help them develop citywide programs and services focused on immigrant youth, using the actual youth experiences as basis for the new program. You can find this example on our engagedcitiesaward.org website under the Past Awards page, which you can find in the main navigation bar, and then click on the Winners subpage. Crowdsourcing is the next category. In this category, citizens are contributing their own information to help the city get a better understanding of preferences and needs of citizens. Again, this could happen through a mobile app or in print. An example to check out comes from last year's Engaged Cities Awards finalist, Mexico City. They used change.org to capture citizen petition for the Constitution and received over 10,000 signatures this way. You can find this example on our engagedcitiesaward.org website under the Past Awards page, which you can find in the main navigation bar, and then click on the Winners subpage. Don't worry, we will include a link to all of these examples in the FAQ portion of the website. Once again, Mexico City's work is just one example of crowdsourcing, so we look forward to your inspirational examples as well. Lastly, we have the other category. If your project does not fit into one of the 4 categories above, we ask that you define your own category and provide a brief explanation. Now, while your application may have elements of different categories, we ask that you select the category that is the most representative. And again, our 2 websites provide a lot of helpful information, so please check them out, engagedcitiesaward.org and citiesofservice.org. The examples I went over in each category are by no means an exhaustive list. This is why we can't wait to see what else you inspire us with. So, once you've picked your category, continue to the second question, which is describing the public problem. After you've described the public problem, let us know what your solution was. And then, what changed? What improved as a result of your solution? The last question is for you to let us know what lessons you learned throughout the process. Once you're done with all the questions, you're able to paste in the link to your 30 to 60-second video. As a reminder, the quality of the video production will not be factored into our scoring questions or decisions. After that, you can check the My Mayor box. Please note that applications which do not have support from the mayor or chief city executive will not qualify for the award. After you've checked that box, check the box underneath to receive updates from Cities of Service, and then make sure to check the box that says I'm not a robot, and all that's left is to submit. Once you submit, a copy of your application will be emailed to you. It'll be that same email that you provided initially. If you do not receive this email, again, please check your spam folder. And if it's not in the spam folder, please do get in touch with me. Now that you know a bit more about the award, eligibility, and how to apply, I'd like to remind you of how we understand public problems. Cities of Service defines public problems as, number one, a problem that directly affects the daily lives of citizens. So here are some examples, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. Homelessness, neighborhood safety, extreme weather, literacy or food insecurity, and many others. The second way we define a public problem is as follows: a problem that inhibits how cities deliver services. So again, here are some examples, but these are by no means, this is not an exhaustive list. Ineffective deployment of resources, underutilized programs, or perpetuation of silos or bureaucracies, and others. As a reminder, we're looking for solutions that actively engage citizens in reducing or solving a public problem. Your application may focus on one of the two definitions I just mentioned, or both. Now, I'd like to share some tips for your application. The first tip has to do with the public problem. It is imperative that we can connect your public problem to a citizen quality of life. So, if we see this as a public problem in your application, low citizen engagement or lack of trust between citizens and the city, we will be left wondering why this matters. How does low citizen engagement or lack of trust impact citizen quality of life? What problems were created as a result of low citizen engagement or lack of trust? In the next example, we see the same public problems, but now they're connected to a specific quality of life challenge. We have an idea of the consequences of low citizen engagement or lack of trust. Example B reads, low citizen engagement has contributed to higher eviction rates of our elderly population, and lack of trust between citizens and the city has contributed to an increase of crime in the southern part of the city. Having the understanding of why the public problem mattered will help us understand your solution and impact better. As you answer the public problem question in the application, make sure to check for a clear connection between the problem you identified and citizen quality of life. The next tip for filling out your application has to do with storytelling. Stories are a powerful way to get your point across. So the tips here are to weave in stories into your application as possible. Provide as much description as you can, and make sure to include relevant metrics within the stories. Here are two examples of a public problem. I'd like for you to see if you can spot a difference between these two examples. Example A, City of Lemon was an industrial city. In 1995, all industrial jobs were lost. People started to leave our city, which caused property values to plummet. Schools suffered, and low-paying jobs increased. We wanted to keep our residents and help them get better jobs so they can thrive locally. Here's example B. Pat used to be able to save $500 a month in order to take her kids on vacation every year. When the mill where Pat worked closed, over 450 of our residents lost their jobs. Like so many, Pat was not trained for the new jobs in our city. In fact, over 45% of our residents do not have the necessary skills to stay and thrive in our community. We wanted to change that. So did you notice the difference? Example A tells us the facts. Example B tells us someone's story and includes the bigger community perspective by weaving in relevant data points. Example B allows us to picture a person for whom your strategy will make a difference. So now that you have your story down, it's time to help us understand what difference your solution made on the public problem. Make sure to include relevant measures and data points which can show us that the initial public problem you described was either addressed or eliminated due to, in part, by your solution and citizen engagement. Some ways to do this are to share with us problem data before the solution and then problem data after the solution. You can also include data around outputs as you're working towards your ultimate outcome. So an example of an output is 200 youth from low-income families participated in the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math program. And then an example of an outcome is that 54 youth out of the 200 youth secured full-time summer jobs in a science, technology, engineering, arts, or math position within our community. This concludes the content portion of the webinar. As a reminder, January 18th is when the first round applications are due. You're able to apply for the Engaged Cities Award on the engagedcitiesaward.org website. And please do send any additional questions to engagedcitiesaward@citiesofservice.org. With that said, let's get into your questions. Feel free to continue entering your questions into the question bar. I'm going to go ahead and take a few minutes right now to look over the questions that have been submitted and come back on here in a few seconds to begin answering them. So one question is, how do we show the impact to engage cities of service? Are there specific methods that you're asking for? We do not prescribe any form of method or type of method. You can use surveys, you can do whatever method you're capable of doing, as long as we can see that there is a change in what you've been describing before. There was a question about what does it take to join the coalition. Basically, if you send me an email, I will provide you with additional information. But the main thing is that we have a document which your mayor reads and signs. And once you have that signed, you are part of our coalition and are able to receive the resources we offer. I also just wanted to reiterate that the award is for solutions that have already been implemented by the city and have proof, if you will, of their impact. So make sure that when you're thinking about what to apply for, you're applying for something that has already happened. It's either addressed the problem it was supposed to address or move the needle on the problem in a significant way that we can see that through your data that you share with us. There was a question about how to categorize an issue that is so large that it can fit many different categories. And we really, really want you to think through the options that we've provided. If you feel strongly that the categories we've provided are just too limiting, go ahead and create your own category. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you specifically explain how the category you created is different from the ones that we've provided. And there was a question if the 15 to 1800 characters includes the space or the gap between the characters, and yes, it does. So those character limits include the space gap. These are wonderful questions. Please keep them coming. Another question that came up is, what can my city use the prize money for? So the Engage Cities Award is a recognition program. So it's designed to elevate tested solutions that have been shown to successfully address public problems through citizen engagement. So this is not an implementation grant program. So prize money can be used at the discretion of the winning cities to support their efforts to engage citizens to solve critical public problems. Another question that came up is, can universities or NGOs be part of the execution? Does the city administration need to oversee the whole project? That is a great, great question, and it's been asked quite a few times. Any projects that you are working on with other NGOs and partners are more than welcome you're welcome to apply for this award. The thing is, the city needs to be the one that applies and then show us how the NGOs and the universities were involved in the process. So this award is for the city for addressing a public problem in their community. And of course, we know partners are a big part of that process. We just need to see the application come from the city, and we need to see in the application that the city played a significant role in that process. So not only giving money away, but doing other work as well to engage citizens in the process. There was another question, or there is another question about submitting additional resources or presentations with the application. You do not need to do that, and we would prefer that you don't. The only thing you need to do, if you can, is share the 30 to 60-second video with us. And this next question might be a little similar to the one before, but can projects still be ongoing? And the answer is yes. You do not have to have solved the public problem, but we do need to see significant impact or the needle being moved on the problem in the data that you share with us. These are great questions, everyone. There was a question if photos are able to be submitted in this first application. Right now, they are not able to be submitted. The only thing we can do is the video. There is another question. Is there a language requirement for the application? Yes, all applications, including answers to the questions and optional video, must be submitted in English. The video may be subtitled or dubbed in English. So again, just as a reminder, again, this is an award program, so that means we're not granting any money out, and the award can be used for anything that helps move citizen engagement work further in your city. and the only projects that are eligible are the ones that have either been completed and we can see impact, or ones that are ongoing, but we can see the needle being moved on the public problem. Great questions, everyone. There is a question, what if the solution my city submits is already being implemented by other cities? We think that's very exciting, and we want to hear about the tested solution that's demonstrating impact, especially those already being implemented by other cities. So please be sure to explain this in your application, and we welcome your application. There is a question about, can we submit a project that we completed several years ago? If it solves the problem and it's not too long ago, you are welcome to submit. And also, if there's a component where you are continuing to engage citizens in some kind of a process that is tied to the solution that you created a few years ago, that will be an interesting piece for us to learn about. So basically, how are you continuing to engage citizens around that problem you addressed or solved? There's a great question about where can you find additional examples of each category. The examples I provided are going to be in the FAQ section in the middle of the FAQ page. There's plenty other cities on our Engage Cities Award and citiesofservice.org website that you could look through for inspiration. One caveat I want to mention to everyone is that we are looking for applications to go beyond planning processes. So cities do a wonderful job, and in some ways, and sometimes are really required to do long-range planning and other planning programs. Those are interesting, but we want to go beyond planning processes. We actually need to see the work the residents did on a particular public problem. We want to go beyond just understanding a public problem or understanding how big it is or understanding what options there are for solving a public problem. We need to see actual tangible work that has been done on that issue. These are really, really good questions, everyone. I think that we must have covered either all the information you were wondering about or the questions that others have asked have helped answer some of your questions, which is always good. So thank you all very much for being part of this webinar. We are going to send you this recording of the webinar tomorrow, and there will be links to the FAQ section for the additional examples in there as well. So please, if you did not get an answer to a question that you have through the webinar, please check out our FAQ page and get in touch with us if you have further questions. Have a wonderful day.